Hello everybody. Alright, shooting this video on Friday of Module 6. A quick update about our midterm and Module 7. So let's take a look at what we're doing and some of the changes. So the biggest change is I've decided, based off of your feedback and some of the difficulty a handful of you had with the proctored experience, we are not going to have Proctor U for the final exam. Probably will still examine it in the future because of artificial intelligence and the ability to answer these questions with 100% accuracy and proving that that you've actually learned something versus using the AI. Learning how to use AI is extraordinarily important, probably the most important skill that you can get going forward, but we also have to measure that component. But, however, with some of the difficulties with Proctor U, I think we need to kind of fine-tune that a bit. So we're just going to go with the final. We're going to go with a non-proctored final. So just kind of your regular final, take it however you want. It is open now, and you can take it up until Sunday, the last day of the class. There is 150 minutes for that final. There is 100 questions in there. As I discussed on the previous, one of our previous updates, that we're just going to limit the information on the final to everything in the course from the midterm forward. So that would be Modules 5, 6, and 7, and those chapters covered in there. So make sure that you are covering just that material. The study guide, a few of you told me the study guide was overwhelming at 14 pages for the previous midterm. Again, I was trying to condense 12 chapters, hundreds of pages of information into something somewhat condensed, Easter egged. But I've made a new study guide using your feedback, even more condensed. So I would highly recommend, as it comes up here, hopefully, and loading very slowly, that you use these kind of key concepts from each one of the chapters presented since the midterm and review that. These will be pretty much highly probable that these concepts, these definitions in one form or another, questions will be asked about those, those terms that you're seeing here. So again, it may not be totally inclusive of all questions, but if I was going to study anything or have anything available to me, this is what I would have, for sure. So it should key in pretty tight to what you're being tested on. The other factor, let's go ahead and go back here, and I will show you, we'll do a quick preview of a couple of questions for the exam here in just a moment. But I wrote the exam questions based off of all of the quiz questions that you've had, again, in Modules 5, 6, and 7. A reinterpretation of those quiz questions. So if you wanted to study two things, study the quiz questions, because I've taken those 120 quiz questions, tossed out 20 of them. Don't know which ones, but I tossed out 20. Some of the weird ones, but I did toss out 20 of them, and then took those 100 quiz questions and rewrote them. But the purpose and the testing focus on each one of those questions remain the same. So if you looked at a quiz question, if you noticed that all the quiz questions had explanations for, underneath the correct answer. So going through those quizzes, looking at the correct answer, remember you could take every quiz 3 times, so all of you pretty much got 20 full points on all of those. But you can look at the further definition down below, review those quiz questions, because they're not going to come up exactly like that, but the intent, purpose, content will most likely, with 100% certainty, show up, maybe 95% certainty, will show up on that final exam. So study your old quizzes, modules 5, 6, and 7, and study that kind of that glossary that I have for you in the final exam study guide. So let's take a look at a couple of questions so you can see the difficulty. And you can even, if you wish, and as I'm looking here, again, we have 150 minutes for this. There is no math on here. So the somewhat mathy questions have been removed out of those 120. So if you did not want to bring a calculator, that's perfectly fine. Well, again, this is open book, open note, because I'm not proctoring you. You can, I guess, bring whatever you like. But if you look at question 1, this is basically a reinterpretation of question 1 in, I believe that first chapter would be chapter 19. Quiz 1, chapter 19 of module 5. So again, very fundamental stuff here that you should do pretty well on. I mean, with the study glossary, study guide that I've given you, and looking at the previous quiz questions and open book, open note, and a very generous time, you should be fine. The important thing is that you're learning through all of this, and even looking up the answers, which I would encourage you to do, versus, look, you could literally copy and paste and put this in AI and get an answer. I would encourage you not to do that, but to at least look up the answer, or even read it on the, if you're looking at my little glossary definition sheet that I've given you, you go, okay, there's that, boom, boom, boom. Okay, the answer is this. That helps you kind of retain and learn that concept, because these concepts will come up again in your real life and working. And I would hate for you not to know what a quartile is. If you're in a manager or supervisory role and they're talking about quartiles, I would I would feel bad if you didn't know what that was. So having kind of those general understanding of some of these basic financial concepts that are driving business decisions in healthcare is what I want you to do. And if you're looking up the answers, that's great, because that helps you learn too. All right, so there's question number 2. I'll just give you the first 5 questions here. Copy, paste, or screenshot, do whatever you want. But you'll notice if you start doing studying and matching these 5 that, geez, these are very similar to the quiz questions. Not exact, kind of twisted a bit, bit. You got to kind of understand what it is. But if you look at that quiz question and the original, you should be able to nail these. Okay, so question 3, 4, and question 5. Each one's worth 2 points, and again, there's going to be 100 questions on there. It should be very doable with this method. So hopefully it's kind of a fair test, but not too stressful for you. Okay, that includes kind of our final update. I should say final exam update. Let me scoop my picture here. We'll just take it off the screen altogether and go back into the modules. So feel free to start working on Module 7 if you like. Just to emphasize that everything is due by the end of the course. If you have any late work, please get it in by the end of the course. As you all know, the course will end the Sunday, double checking the calendar, Sunday at midnight. The course shuts down and you can't submit anything. So make sure you got everything done, exam done, everything done by Sunday at midnight. Monday morning, I have to come in and grade, and there's no time for me to track down missing assignments between the time I get in here and noon when grades are due. So make sure that you get everything in, including that extra credit if you feel you need it. That also needs to be submitted by that point as well. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it. If you do have any questions as you start getting into Module 7, please let me know. But hopefully this will be a little bit more streamlined, I guess, experience for you as we enter into the final week of the class. Everybody have a great weekend, and I will check in with you early next week. Thanks.